A robber by the name of Tom Chidling is seen in the first scene stealing an envelope from a safe and running away from the guard. He seems to have exceptional parkour abilities, which he employs to get away over residential balconies and rooftops. Sadly, an unidentified attacker throws him over a building, preventing his escape. After then, the envelope is taken, leaving Tom to perish. The movie then jumps forward a few years, introducing us to Oliver, a small child who lives with his mother, Molly. Despite their little income, they used to paint together, visit art galleries, and discuss works by well-known painters. They have a happy life together, but it is not to last, as a few years later, Molly dies of an unidentified illness, leaving Oliver all by himself and unable to deal with his mother's loss. Oliver begins spending his days and nights in museums and art galleries. Eventually, he becomes a street thug who relies on stealing. For a livelihood, he teaches himself how to free run and gets the nickname Twist. He not only has parkour skills, but he also has a talent for graffiti art, something he inherited from his mother one day. Oliver is graffiti spraying on a traffic warden's van. When he's caught by some cops following this, a chase begins. And during this, Oliver encounters 3 members of a criminal organization named Dodge Batesy, and Red, the gang, transports him to their base near the Truman Brewery. There he meets Fagin, an elderly man who appears to be the carer. The old man asks Oliver to join their gang, but he declines and walks away the next morning. The criminal gang notices Oliver drawing a massive graffiti painting on a building. Old Fagin is able to judge Oliver and understands that he needs love. He then sends Red to invite him to dinner so that they can show him some care. Later that evening, Red goes to the roof of a building where Oliver has taken up a temporary residence to have a quick chat, and they seem to enjoy each other's conversation before leaving. Red extends an invitation to supper at Fagin's, suggesting that they would make better companions than his artwork. In the meanwhile, Sykes, an old buddy of Fagin's, shows in and admits to pushing Tom. After that, she invites Fagin to join her in business, and when he says yes, she saves his priceless envelope as a safety net in case things don't work out. Oliver meets the criminals at their base later that evening and has supper with them. He feels quite at home among these modest, low-life petty crooks with whom he rapidly becomes friends. Finding out that all the other people are orphans just like him makes him feel even more comfortable. Following supper, Fagin and Oliver speak briefly, and at that point, Fagin says he wants someone who can train with Red and keep up with her once they've shown her how their family lives. Oliver happily consents to accompany them. The next day, Fagin tells Crispin Lawsburn, a rich art dealer, curator, and collector of paintings from the 18th century. Fagin claims that Crispin stole everything from him, and as a result, he is thinking about paying Crispin back. After that, he tells about his scheme to rob Crispin's gallery of an expensive art collection. Red intentionally runs into Crispin as part of their plot, spilling coffee on him. Then, while pretending to wipe it, she removes his jacket. Oliver takes Crispin's phone and brings it to Batesy, who transfers the data on it right away as Red talks to him incoherently. Oliver skillfully answered the phone again, accomplishing the first goal of the strategy. Later, Fagin gives her some art books to peruse and tells her to study so she can remember the content for when she speaks with Crispin. Oliver gladly agrees to assist her when he begs him to. After that, the two visit an art museum where Oliver gives her a description of the artworks. They seem happy together and have a great rapport. Fagin then goes on to describe the picture they want to steal. William Hogarth was a great English Renaissance painter, and this is one of his 6 pieces. According to Fagin, Crispin partnered with a guy called Isaac Solomon many years ago, and the two of them bought a lot of paintings, one of which was of Hogarth. However, Crispin vanished with the paintings at their sale. He later betrayed Solomon in the midst of their chat by claiming that the paintings had been stolen. Oliver is introduced to Sykes and her dog Bullseye by Fagin as they enter. Red goes to Crispin's home in the second stage of the plot to place a little bomb in his bathroom. However, she drops the device by mistake, and it explodes with a small explosion sound. She phones the squad to request another explosive after regaining control of the situation. Oliver quickly slips inside Crispin's home and makes his way to the toilet utilizing his parkour talents. The little explosive is then placed on a bathroom pipe by them. Shortly after the squad detonates the device, Dodge prank phones Crispin, and with his help, Oliver and Red escape the scene, causing the pipe to burst and the water to pour out. As a result, Crispin is forced to decide whether to relocate the picture back to the base. Oliver is happy to learn that Red is Sykes' partner, but his happiness is short-lived as the gang celebrates the success of their second plan. After that, Oliver is the only one who isn't having fun when they all go to a bar. Red approaches him for a talk a little while later, but Sykes' thugs who think Oliver is making out with her startle her. In the next scene, the crew battles the guys and leaves the tavern. After meeting in a swimming pool, Oliver and Red strike up a private discussion. He asks her at this time whether she is interested females, to which she replies that she is not, and she also disputes her connection with Sykes, which confuses him. After pushing him into the water, Red jumps in and gives him a kiss, clearing his uncertainty. They then flee across the park, only to be caught by the police. Red heads back to their headquarters at the police station, while Oliver is caught for spray painting the traffic warden's vehicle. Detectives Brownlow and Bedouin interview Oliver, pretending he doesn't know them. They also tell him about Tom's passing, cautioning him that he may end up the same way they questioned him about Fagin and Sykes. He goes back to the base once the detectives release him. Sykes approaches him as soon as he gets there, believing that he has given the police some information. She forewarns him that he will always be in her line of sight. They hear Crispin discussing relocating the paintings to a newsroom with a delivery firm a little later. Stealing the artwork while it is in motion is the third step of the strategy. Oliver replaces Batesy, who is supposed to hide in one of the delivery truck boxes, as planned since he is claustrophobic. Dodge and Batesy halt the delivery truck and attempt to divert the driver by disguising themselves as construction workers. Oliver is able to grab the artwork from the other box by slipping out of the box and giving them ample time. Despite everything, Crispin quickly learns about the thieves and notifies the truck driver, so things do not go as well as they had hoped. Oliver falls out of the truck empty-handed as a consequence of the driver's sudden acceleration of the vehicle. After the police come, Oliver and Red are urged to go, while Sykes remains behind to confront the policeman. Sykes and Red, who are behind the truck, exit to deal with the problem. After they have all arrived back at the base, Oliver is reprimanded by Sykes for altering the plan, even though Oliver maintains his innocence. She believes he is employed by the police. Red steps in to defend Oliver as she prepares to punish him. She says he was merely detained for vandalizing the traffic warden's vehicle and didn't divulge anything to the police. When Sykes asks how she knows for sure, she tells him that she was swimming with him that day. Upon hearing this, Sykes feels deceived and immediately pulls and beats her. Dodge makes a fruitless attempt to reach Batesy in the meantime. Oliver goes on to say that Sykes killed him in the same way that she did. Until Sykes provides confirmation, Tom Dodge is not persuaded. In addition, she makes threats to murder everyone if they go on undermining the plan. After that, Fagin comes up with another scheme to get into the building where the Hogarth picture is scheduled to be auctioned. The gang members all don disguises and make their way to the auction house. Before entering the auditorium, Fagin and Red place a revolver in Crispin's chair. Meanwhile, Dodge snatches a security identification card, which she uses to open the roof entrance and let Oliver in. This leads to a significant evacuation. Thus, the picture is moved back to the safe by lift, and he is arrested by the police. Oliver manages to get into the lift at that precise moment, spray the CCTV camera, and take the artwork. Oliver's parkour skills proved to be a huge benefit, as they allowed him to avoid the detective's sight outside the auction building. Sadly, Detective Bedouin discovers him and chases him. Crispin knows who Fagin is, but before he can say anything, Fagin gives him a low blow and turns to go. In the meanwhile, Batesy, who turns out to be still alive, calls Dodge. He tells her that Sykes attempted to kill him, and he bans her from seeing him ever again. But they are powerless because Sykes has taken Red captive. Later, when everyone is gathered on a roof, Oliver insists that Sykes free Red before giving her the picture. Sykes first concurs, but all of a sudden she deceives him and takes the painting out of his hand. Oliver, however, doesn't appear to care about this. He confesses that he copied the artwork and stashed the originals away. He then convinces Sykes that he used to paint graffiti before becoming involved in it, adding once again the caveat that if she allows him and Red go, he would phone her to let her know where the artwork is. When Fagin hears this, he tells Sykes to follow his instructions, since the painting is the most important thing. Taking advantage of the confusion, she shoots Oliver in the arm after discovering that Fagin is supporting Oliver. She says that she gets to determine how it ends. Sykes follows Oliver and Red as they run, but regrettably she catches up to them and threatens them with a pistol. As she prepares to shoot Oliver, she is shot, which sends her falling from the building. Oliver turns around to see Fagin brandishing the rifle and saying that the punishment is death. Oliver sneakily leaves the letter and the key for Detective Bedouin and Brownlow when he meets them at a cafe a week later. Oliver phones Brownlow as soon as they leave, implying that the artwork has been at their side the whole time. The painting's real owners are revealed by the envelope, and the key takes them to Crispin's locker, which is home to several pilfered treasures of art. As a result, Crispin is apprehended by the police right away, believing that the well-known art dealer has been profiting greatly from the sale of pilfered artwork. It is also revealed that previously, while Syke was keeping Red captive, Fagin grabbed the envelope covertly from her pocket. The mail indicates that the true owner of the pilfered artworks is none other than Fagin. His name is Isaac Solomon. After eventually exacting his retribution and being removed from the records, Fagin leaves to lead a modest life among all those pilfered artworks. Oliver's mother owns one of these. Molly's painting is considered a royal piece of art by critics, and the National Art Gallery is now hosting the exhibition Finds Its Place. Oliver now achieves his mother's goal of becoming a well-known artist. Oliver finally tells his crew to stop stealing and start selling Molly's remaining paintings, which are now in great demand. Oliver and Red start their new romance in the middle of it all.